perfect role model for our journey as the Cranky Cynic is Samuel Langhorne Clemens, better known to most of you as Mark Twain. He was born in 1835 and left us in 1910, but he's still poking fun at all of us from the grave. Mark Twain blended cynicism with humor better than any other American author of his time. He mastered the art of seeing through the glitter and calling out the nonsense with a sharp wit and an even sharper tongue. Twain didn't just tell stories, he exposed America's contradictions, hypocrisies, and absurdities with the sharpest wit and clearest eyes of the 1890s. Mark Twain was a man who lived through the rise of the Industrial Revolution. He called it the Gilded Age, the glittering surface hiding corruption and greed, and he wasn't afraid to call it out. His humor wasn't just for laughs, it was a weapon against complacency and falsehood. And as Twain famously said, the secret of getting ahead is getting started. And beneath that practical advice lies a deeper skepticism about progress and human nature. He knew that progress often comes wrapped in setbacks, and the politics of his day was full of smoke and mirrors. So as we dive into the life and the legacy of Mark Twain, remember, he's just not a humorist or a storyteller. He's the Great American Cynic, and his words still cut through the noise today as they did back in his generation.
Let's get cynical. Have fun. Smile more. Laugh hard. Question the status quo.
When I mention the name Mark Twain, childhood classics come to mind. The Adventures of Tom Sawyer, written in 1876, and its sequel, The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, written in 1884. The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn is often called the Great American Novel. Mark Twain lived along the Mississippi River in Hannibal, Missouri. Even Mark Twain's pen name is a bit geeky. Mark Twain is a riverboat term meaning the safe water depth, 2 fathoms, 12 feet. So even his name is a measurement that was calibrated for cynicism. Mark Twain was quite the geek in his day. He was fascinated with science and scientific inquiry, and he was close friends with another crazy geek of his era, Nikola Tesla. So the two spent a lot of time together in Tesla's laboratory shooting lightning bolts at each other. Of course, we will talk about Nikola Tesla a lot in future episodes. Tesla was good friends with many famous people of his day, such as Mark Twain, and he loved to show his party tricks and experiments with his famous friends. So, Tesla was an entertaining guy. He had many cool partying tricks, and he invented the rich and famous back to his lab so he could shoot lightning bolts at them, and Mark Twain was happy to be a part of that. Twain himself was an inventor. He invented a adjustable garment strap, something like a replacement for suspenders. He had a patent on a trivia game, and he also had a patent on a self-pasting scrapbook. In his books, Twain talked about fingerprinting. He used it in his Life on the Mississippi, published in 1883, and Pudd'nhead Wilson, published in 1894. So he was talking about technology that wasn't quite, mainstream at the time. And you can also say that Mark Twain was the first person of the American era to write about a time traveler, because he talked about modern science in medieval England in a kind of alternate universe kind of spin in his book, A Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's Court in 1889. So Twain wasn't just a writer. He was a geek, and if he were alive today, he'd probably be filling out patents for weird tools that he was creating and, doing podcast appearances on his inventions. But getting back to Mark Twain, the Great American Cynic, he'd fit right in with today's world. His famous one-liner is, if you don't read the newspaper, you're uninformed, and if you read the newspaper, you're misinformed. Well, hell, he'd love today's internet. Twain solidified his role as a legendary cynic with his book, The Gilded Age, A Tale of Today. It skewered post-Civil War America, ridiculed Washington, D.C., and fried many of the leading figures of his day. Mark Twain's wit and wisdom actually gave the word Gilded Age meaning that is still used today, referring to a period of time that means glittering on the surface but corrupt underneath. He was talking about the greed, political corruption, and shady business practices that were part of the industrial boom of his day with railroads, the coal and steel industries, which were all wrapped up in some type of graft and corruption. Twain didn't just write about America, he roasted it. He was the original roastmaster general. He was a magnetic speaker. He captivated audiences with his talks. And yeah, you might say he was one of the early stand-up comedians of the American era. So he's hailed as the greatest humorist the United States has ever produced. I could sit here all day reading off Mark Twain quotes, such as, a man who carries a cat by the tail learns something he can learn in no other way. Creepy cool, but funny. So Mark Twain showed us that you don't need a Netflix special to be a stand-up legend, just a sharp tongue and plenty of material from a corrupt government. So Mark Twain showed us that behind every glittering age lies a rusted truth. He gave the word Gilded Age meaning that still holds true today. And as our Great American Cranky Cynic, he proves that when you strip away the shine, laugh at the absurd, and see the world differently, you become a cult hero. So here's to Mark Twain, the Great American Cynic, the geek who loved Tesla, the satirist who named a whole era that still holds true today, and the stand-up comic who never needed a microphone. He's our role model, and he's our reminder that the more things change, the more they stay absurd. Mark Twain showed us behind every glittering age lies a rusted truth. And that's our mission as the Cranky Cynic, to strip away the shine, laugh at the absurd, and to see the world from a different light. We hope you've enjoyed our journey so far. We hope you'll subscribe and stay along for the ride, and we look forward to seeing you in our next episode. Have a great one, buddy.
Let's get cynical.